Okay, what's up, folks? This is going to be a live Q&A session between Haley here and myself. This hangout is going to be just us taking questions from those who are watching. Well, hold on a second. I'm getting some feedback. I always forget to mute.
Oh,
All right, so okay, I just muted it. But anyway, if there were anybody watch because like these questions was geared more towards people on Facebook, not necessarily those on YouTube. But of
hmm
course, if you are watching this through YouTube and you might have a Facebook account or something, then you can go to um, my. Hold on, I don't know if I have the form link posted anywhere that they could find. Hmm. Well, hold on. Let me real quick. I'm gonna post the link to our debate forum in the description.
all
So
right.
if those who are watching through YouTube want to go to the debate forum to ask questions, then they'll be able to do that. So I gotta update the description with our forum link.
All right.
All right. So okay, here's the forum link. Description. Let's see. Yep, people screaming in the back. I told you. And people up here, nice you. Okay, I'm in the description now. If you want to ask a question on our forum, go to here. All right, that's done.
Yay.
Yeah, so I really hope we have people are watching because I think this is a very, very like amazing idea.
Thanks.
I never thought I'd even be doing anything like this, but it's a cool idea.
Thanks.
But I guess while we're waiting, I'll just give some background on myself real quick. Now, I've been an avid pro-lifer, not as much on social media, but just on a general whole, I've been an avid pro-lifer since I was about 14 years old. So I'm 30 years old now, so about 16 years. And like in my schools, in the schools I went to, I would debate abortion with other people through like certain chat rooms, like prior to when YouTube was founded and things like this. I would debate abortion. Um, and yeah, basically, I've been in it for quite some time now, and yeah, it's I think it's one of the best movements I've ever been a part of. One of the best things I've ever been a part of, besides my church group and my Christian walk. But um, yeah, I wouldn't do anything else because I think the single most important issue, besides coming to the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ, besides that, the single most important issue to me is life because I truly believe that the ilks and the really messed up things and just the downward spiral and destruction of our world is at the root of our disrespect for the least of these, the weakest and most precious among us. I mean, at the end of the day, if you have no respect for children, if you have no respect for the least of these, if you have no respect for those who are the most vulnerable and precious, then there's nothing that can, stop you from having disrespect to other things. If you don't respect the lives and the dignities of our precious young children, then there's nothing off limits.
I completely agree.
Yep. So, could you like maybe briefly give a summary about your pro-life involvement, or like why you are so passionately pro-life?
Yeah, well, you could say I've always detested abortion ever since I learned what it was. I thought, well, how can anybody do that to a fellow human being? So, in my mind, I've always been opposed to it, but I didn't start serious activism and debating until earlier this year after my pastor gave a very powerful message about it. And the more I experience and the more I debate, uh, the more I'm learning that pro-aborts really don't have a leg to stand on in this debate. And I'm really looking forward to what the future has or what God has in store for me as far as my career in pro-life advocacy. And I'm glad I've met people like you and other pro-life friends like Michelle. And I'm just looking forward to what comes next.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, so I'm trying to see in like some of the places you may have posted if there's any responses as of yet. Let me see here. Not that I can immediately tell. Actually, well, no, that was 2 hours ago. It's like someone commented on the Q&A. What did they say? Let me see here. Oh, okay. Some lady named Debbie Norsik. She said, "I just want to say that I believe that Haley has great insight and passion for this topic. Love that girl." Okay. Oh, okay. All right. So this was your aunt saying this. All right. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. It's also great to have that family support there. And those girls
Yes, it
again.
is.
My goodness. What in the world is screaming about? But anyway, yeah, just yeah, when you have that family support, that just shows you that you're. I mean, in anything, in just about anything you do, the family support is awesome. But I mean, it's something that's I believe, in my personal opinion, is worth more while than anything else anyone can possibly do. It's just that much more amazing because I don't understand how anybody can think anything is more important than the life of the most precious among us. I mean, we're talking about the next generation here. We're talking about the fact that we've lost millions and millions of our precious young ones because of this sick evil, this sick just mindset in our culture, and they want to say that we're like more progressive than any other culture in the past. Like, really? Just look at the abortion toll count. Look at stuff like um, the world wars. Just look at stuff like Hitler's Holocaust. Look at Pol Pot. Look at Mao Zedong. Look at all those folks who just murdered the millions on the millions, and combine that with abortion. We are dealing with probably the bloodiest era in human history. You
Hmm.
cannot call that progressive in any sense to me.
I have to agree with you there.
But the problem is, a lot of people are deceived into believing that the unborn is just insignificant, that they just don't matter. They're not really a factor to consider in the death toll. So they just
Oh
brush it
yeah.
aside as if it's not a big deal.
Oh yeah, I've had pro-aborts call the unborn some pretty vile names, in my opinion, like parasites and disposable and whatnot.
Hmm. Everyone knows at the nature of the matter, the heart of the matter, that what they're saying is total nonsense. Everyone knows it, whether they
Hmm.
admit it or not. Like, I'll have these people playing these semantic arguments. Like, I had a gentleman talking about at the conception point. Basically, his argument went like this. He questioned me calling the unborn a human from conception because, according to um, the definition of being a human, it would have to be like a multicellular organism, like a mammal. And basically, at the starting point, it starts out as a single cell and then which divides. But if it's not a multicellular organism at the starting point, or rather, he didn't say multicellular organism at the starting point, but if it's a single cell at the starting point of conception, then it doesn't qualify as a human at the conception point. But the problem with what he was saying was that he's confusing physicality with nature. That is to say that it has nothing to do with how it starts out. Yes, it starts out as technically one cell, but it has to start out at a lower number before it can become a bigger number. It has to start out at one cell before it can divide into many cells. Of course, it has to start out as a singular nature cell. Like, even if you put the numerical amount on it as one, of course it has to start out that way. But the issue is it doesn't stay that way. The issue is the nature isn't to stay one cell. That's not its nature. Um,
Hmm.
saying one cell does not mean um, um, a single cell organism. A single cell organism stays a single cell by nature. A multicellular organism may start out as a single cell, but it divides into a multicellular organism. So saying that it starts out as one, you know, by semantic definition doesn't make it a human. It's just absolute nonsense because the reason why we say it's a human from conception, according to a ton of human embryology books, is because of the nature of that thing, not because of the physicality necessarily. It's because the nature of it is to divide into a multicellular organism. That's its very nature. So at the conception point, it's still a human being. It doesn't matter if it starts out as something to the degree of one cell. It's already on its way into dividing into a multicellular organism by its nature, by its science, by the very nature of what it is. It's a human being,
Hmm.
and you can't just look at some semantical definition yet ignore the nature of what it is. That's the reason why things are classified. Things are classified um, not necessarily by physicality, but by the nature of the thing, of the things, though, the nature of those things which they are, like a single cell organism, or can also be called a unicellular organism, will be that way because by nature it's unicellular. By that nature, that's what it is. That's why it's called that. So what
Mhm.
if what if the unborn starts out as one cell which divides later on, and you just focus on the starting point of that one cell to try to say it's not a human? That's not the point. By nature, it's still a human. Just because it starts out as one cell does not make it any less of a human by its nature.
And women don't hire anybody to abort one cell, you know?
Exactly. So, I mean, even if I were to grant his, which I don't, but even if I were to grant his semantic argument, um, you would. The only thing that would change is that it wouldn't be um, a human for what? Maybe a very, very, very short infinitesimal moment. Maybe not really any long enough for it to even matter. Especially seeing as most women wouldn't even know they're pregnant by that time anyway.
Right?
So it's just a petty issue of semantics. But even his semantical argument fails because you cannot get around physicality. I mean, you can't get around the nature of it by appealing to semantics with how it may physically look at the beginning point. Because every cell has to form, okay? Are we going to sit up here and say during the formation of a unicellular organism, it's not a unicellular organism because certain things haven't formed? Of course not. Everything has to have a process to form.
hmm
We can apply that same semantic nonsense to any organism, whether it's a single cell or multi-cell. We can apply that to any organism. Like, yes, the forming of this single cell organism is starting. Like the first cell is forming, but until that cell fully forms, we can't call it a single cell organism. That's just nonsense. Because I can like attack the beginning stage of development with anything and play the same semantic nonsense.
hmm
So every cell has to develop or be on its way to developing. So if one cell is on its way to developing, if one cell is on its way to developing but hasn't developed fully yet, well, I'd be like, well, that's not a single cell organism, even though it's developing on its way to being one. I'm not. That's just nonsense because the nature of it is a single cell organism, although it's forming into the single cell. In the same way, it's forming into multiple cells. It's not going to remain a single cell organism. And he was just um, just trying to play the stupid semantic game on like, well, if it's not technically multiple cells, then by the definition, it's not a human being because it's a single cell at the starting point.
Yeah, I've had plenty of pro-aborts try to conflate biology with philosophy, but that's the first time I've ever heard of one conflate nature with physicality.
Yes, exactly. It's really it's one of the most nonsensical arguments I ever heard, and um, he was actually giving that argument in a hangout of his, and even some of the people in this hangout, like about two or three of the people in this hangout, had an issue with it. They took issue to what he was saying, and keep in mind, I don't even if from what I understand, these people that was taking issue to what he's saying aren't even pro-life. So I mean, it was just really just a non-issue. It was just ridiculous. It made no sense.
Hey Antonio, can you look in the comment section in YouTube and see if we have any questions?
Hold on. Let's see. Not that I can tell. I don't have any notifications.
Hmm.
There's got to be a way to get more attention to this because, well, I mean, it looked like it was shared 22 times. Like I'm looking at the okay, I'm looking at the forum post and it was shared 22 times. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen this already. Actually, um, well, it seems like the majority of the shows where you like posting it to other groups. Well, I think people saw it. I don't know. I don't know if people saw it and just scrolled right past it or what happened. We might have to actually try to do it again at some other point.
Maybe.
Because I mean, we got over 2,000 people on the page. It's just that I think at certain times are more likely to respond than other times.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if like maybe us doing it right now. I wonder if people are like maybe doing things on the Labor Day weekend or something, possibly.
You know, that is a possibility. I did not think of that.
Hmm. But I mean, I but I mean, I know you want to do it like what? It was like yesterday, 2 days ago or something. But I mean, I couldn't do it. I had a Bible study.
Yeah.
But yeah, I I don't think there's really no good arguments for abortion. I mean, there are certain arguments that may be stronger than others, but as far as them by the content themselves being good, there really isn't any good ones at all.
Nope, and I'm learning that more and more.
Let's see what do we got here. Okay, this is something else entirely. But maybe see, what I wish what happened was like we were able to participate in the live feature together on Facebook because I know Facebook has a live feature now, but that would mean only one of us or the other could do it. We both couldn't do it at the same time.
Right.
That's yeah. That may also contribute to a lot of reasons why we're not getting the notifications. Because if we did like directly, maybe people would like see it like instantaneously and be more likely to respond as opposed to trying to go through like another medium through like YouTube or something else. And I don't know. I guess people are just more inclined, or people are just less likely to see it if they have to go through something else to see it.
Right.
Well, I guess we can try to give it a few more minutes and see if anybody actually responds. But I guess I'll give it like 5 more minutes because I don't want to spend too much time on this because I don't know how long this would even take or if people will start to respond. Maybe um, I don't know. I just don't want to spend too much time on this because ain't no telling when people are going to respond. I mean, they could respond if we were to like spend like an hour on this. They could respond later on, but I really don't want to. Um, risk the possibility of doing this for like an hour and nobody responds the whole time.
Right.
I think we just gotta keep working hard to make the page bigger, and maybe we'll get more responses that way.
Mm, yeah, I think we had a growth of plus 22 people this week. So,
Oh yeah, that's awesome. But I mean, you've been doing most of the work though, because I mean, honestly, like I've just been trying to work on independent projects to grow the page. Like I've been trying to grow my YouTube channel to bring more attention to that page, and some of it wasn't quite the attention I wanted to deal with. You already know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm still in the works on certain projects I'm working on to really, really grow the page because I want to get it to the level of or where pages like the National Pro Life Alliance is at. I want to get to like that sort of level or to a level like live action with Lila Rose's page.
that would be awesome.
I've always wanted to meet her. I just never had the opportunity to.
Yeah, she seems like a wonderful lady.
Oh yeah, she knows her stuff. She's been involved in pro life work for quite some time,
Hmm.
and they're still yelling. My goodness, it's crazy. It's crazy around here. But I think I'll try to see if we may get any responses in the next few minutes or so, and then I'll just unfortunately have to stop it, and then we may have to try again another time maybe.
Hmm.
But it's definitely worth trying because look here. I've always seen it like this. If people see your passion, they'll respond sooner or later. Even if they don't necessarily respond initially, if they see your passion, they will respond at some point.
Hmm.
Because passion attracts an audience. Passion attracts the eyes of those who are watching. Because the overwhelming majority of the world are watchers, and they're just looking for that next big shiny object of admiration, not necessarily an idol to worship, but just the next big thing to focus on and to look forward to and to pay attention to. And I think those like us who get in the forefront are going to be that sort of shiny object they're looking at. Because I mean, how many people, like for example, you got a lot of people on YouTube that do videos, but how many more of them actually watch videos? How many more people actually watch videos as opposed to people who do videos? I would say they would by leaps and bounds outnumber the people who do videos.
Hmm.
So if the audience is much, 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 much bigger for those who watch than those who actually do videos, then the audience potential is virtually unlimited. Yeah, so I'm just working on just some projects to really, really grow the page, and yeah, I've been neglecting YouTube for quite some time, but I mean, there's so many people getting noticed on YouTube. So many pages are growing. Like I seen this guy gain like 100,000 subscribers in 6 months. So there's no reason to not be using social media outlets like YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, it gains attention. It really does. When people see that you really care about the issue, like people like Leela Rose and uh, people like those who are the founders of National Pro-Life Alliance, when they see your passion on this issue, they'll follow. They'll start to really watch, and I really want to see that happen in a big way on our page. You there?
Yes, I am. I was just watching my dog.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me ultimately whether one person's watching or 1 million people are watching. I'm still gonna do what I do at the end of the day because I believe in what I'm doing. Like,
Yes, sir.
yeah, even if only one person ever watches what we do, and heck, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if only one person watches and has their life changed. If only one person watches and has their life changed, then it was worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so yeah, this issue means a whole lot to me, and I just want people to know if anyone's watching this, Haley and I are not anti-women. We do not reject women. We do not have a problem with women making choices. We just don't believe those choices should apply to a human being that's innocent, that has uh, erected no sort of injury whatsoever.
Absolutely. Choices are only valid up until the point that they begin to affect another human being.
Exactly, and absolutely. Yeah, I'm. You know what? I think it was a good try. Like, I'm not discouraged in any way. Oh, hold on. Let me see if we got a response here. Let me check. Well, I think some guy just commented on your latest video. I don't know what he said, but I did see your video though. I thought it was very good.
Oh, the video I made yesterday?
Yeah,
Thank you.
like I just don't see like, and again, I know the pro life movement is going, but it's it's kind of tough to like find like just people that are daily passionate on the level that you are. Like, um, I will come across like somebody that has the passion you have, like maybe every once in every long while. But
Aw,
yeah, it's good to see. Not only that, you like going on 18 years old and you got this kind of passion. That is like really amazing to see that. Because like there's so many people around your age, a little younger, a little older, that's just been indoctrinated with this this choice nonsense, this abortion nonsense, and you even see people who are around your age who basically act like they are on fire for the quote unquote pro-choice position. I mean, we need to show that same kind of intensity and fire for defending life as pro-abortion do for fighting to legally take it according to what the woman wants.
mhm. Oh, we just got a comment on the last video I did.
Yeah, that was the one I was talking about. That some guy commented on your video. What did he say? I didn't read it yet.
He says, I have no rights at the clinic and I have no rights or very limited rights at the courthouse. Thank you, young lady. I don't really know if he's coming from a pro life or a pro choice position. That's kind of confusing.
I'm assuming he's coming from a pro-choice position, but okay. The problem with what he was saying was that nobody has ever said that we had rights at the clinic. Nobody ever said anything like that. Why don't they just actually focus on the argument we're giving rather than on these ridiculous side issues that have nothing to do with what we're actually saying? They don't really address our position at all. Like, well, your rights aren't at the clinic. Nobody said that. That who cares? That's not the point. The point is, can you justify your position that abortion is not wrong? Can you justify that point? Not saying,
And
well,
and they
it's
can't. They
it,
can't
of
justify
course
it.
they can. Not saying, well, it's still legal. Well, where are your rights at the clinic? And all these other side issues, like you're pro-life, you're pro-birth, you support welfare. They keep attacking these meaningless side issues. Don't want to deal with the relevant issue to argue for their position. Like, of course, nobody's gonna think that we can like stop women. I mean, we can talk to them, but ultimately, if they go in there, it's going to be their decision as per how what the law allowed. So, of course, we're not going to like be involved in any sort of capacity once they're in the clinic. Of course, we can see that. That's not the point. And and the dude and I suspect the guy knows that's not the point. But again, they want to like circle around the issue constantly just so they can suit their personal will. They want to circle around the issue so they can circle around the issue. They won't have to deal with what we're actually saying. And rather be like, well, you'll never make abortion illegal, or it's legal now, or it's like, um, I don't care whether it's legal now. The reason why I'm fighting against it because it's legal now. Like,
Hmm.
really? That's your point? It's redundant for you to even say that to begin with. It's just a redundant, useless, pointless um, point to bring up. You already know I'm against what you believe. So, of course, I'm going to fight against it. And, of course, me fighting against it probably means what you side with is legal. So, I mean, like, exactly what the heck is your point behind that? There is no point. There is no point to bringing these nonsensical issues up. Like, they literally
Nope.
address nothing that we're saying. All it does is say that, well, at this point, abortion is legal. That's all it says. Like, we already know that already. That's the whole point of us saying that it should be illegal. That's the whole point of us engaging in activism against it.
Exactly.
Let's see. Okay. All right. I'm not sure if we're gonna get anything anytime soon. I mean, I still enjoyed this hangout, and I still think it was pretty productive. But hopefully, the next time we do this, we'll start, having questions come to us back to back.
Hmm.
So I mean, as much as I'm slightly disappointed, but at the same time, I'm encouraged and optimistic for the future as if as I think we'll really start to reach people as we increase our involvement, and more people start to notice us. And my thing is, I hope more people notice us so we can give them the tools to fight against abortion nonsense, so we can give them the tools to be informed and how to deal with um, arguments which tend to be very tough, like the life saving issue and the rape issue.
Absolutely. I sent you some screenshots a while back where I helped a pro-lifer defend her position.
I
Did
think
you
I
happen to
saw
see them?
that. I think I did, if I remember. Yeah, I think I saw it. You sent me quite a bit, but I think I remember what you're talking about. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I don't really know if we're gonna be getting anything anytime soon, so I'm gonna go ahead and hang out. But we will do this again. We will host another session, and we'll see if we get any feedback next time.
All right. Thank you, Antonia.
All right, no problem. So to those who may have been watching this, I appreciate you watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you later. God bless and peace.
It's like two noses down from the ZTA.
Um, I think we're off air now. It's